What's up, humans? And welcome to a Sunday Psicoactivo, Sunday night. How's everyone doing? I hope you had a great weekend. It's a bit of turmoil, or quite a bit, especially in the US, Canada, and Mexico. There's a lot of back and forth bickering between the governments. President Trump just instituted tariffs, and both Canada and Mexico responded. There's a really tough and difficult situation in Mexico. I live in Tijuana, so I have a kind of like a first row ticket to everything that's going on here with the cartels. So yeah, the cartels have been a major problem for since the 80s, and it all started in Colombia. So right now, the Mexican cartels are currently like completely taking over the whole empire. They're the ones responsible for the epidemic that is going on in not just the US, but all around the world, in terms of fentanyl and other types of drugs being sold. So I am completely against the cartels. And I hope that something can be done peacefully and cooperatively between the Mexican and the US government. I know that a lot of you are very divided over the current administration. Pretty much half of you in America support President Trump, the other half doesn't. I know that there's way more animosity towards Trump all around the world than you guys might think. I think that this battle and these agreements are more like a philosophical difference, because on one side, there's people that believe that we're going back to fascism. And on the other side, there's people that are against the socialist agenda or communist agenda. I don't think either side is right, to be honest with you. I think there is an extreme, an absolutist kind of belief on both sides. And I hope that we can reach agreements in the near future. And I know that there's people that don't believe that President Trump is going to disclose anything when it comes to UFOs. The cabinet that he's putting together, and this is completely true, most of them have been supportive of UFO transparency. So at least we can like think or be hopeful a little bit that some type of transparency will happen. But I am worried about disclosure being monetized and weaponized, not like real disclosure. So there's that. But I do want to talk about President Trump a little bit, because this is a wild story that I've been trying to look into and talk to you guys about because it connects a whole bunch of people that are like involved in today's events and past events as well. So first, let's go to this author by the name of Ingersol Lockwood. He wrote two books. Okay, they are children's novels. They were written between 1889 and 1893 by American author and lawyer Ingersol Lockwood. Remained in obscurity until 2017. These books received a lot of media attention because the president, Donald Trump, at the time, was in office, and there are a lot of similarities that are kind of spooky between these books and the president's life. Yeah, so the first one is Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. That one came out in 1889. Then there's a sequel called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey in 1893. And then there's a sequel to that called The Last President, which is kind of ominous, if you ask me. So these novels were part of a trend in United States children's literature that did respond to the demand for fantastic adventure stories triggered by Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So they didn't receive much acclaim back then, but now you can imagine this story is really weird. The novels recount the adventures of the German boy Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump, who goes by Baron Trump, and he discovers a weird underground civilizations. He offends the natives and flees from his entanglements with local women and repeats his pattern until arriving back home at, get this, Castle Trump. This is interesting because, as you guys know, President Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, is the same name as the kid from the books. And Donald Trump did use the pseudonym John Barron in the 1980s. So Barron Trump's adventures in the books begin in Russia. And that other book from Lockwood in 1900, it's called The Last President, which tells the tale of New York City being riven by protests following the shocking victory in the 1896 presidential election of a populist candidate who brings on the downfall of the American Republic. I don't know why this is so weird and so creepy, but I'm still not sure if, because, it's not weird that some information could be sometimes planted by three-letter agencies in the internet. So according to Wikipedia, and I'm saying Wikipedia with a huge grain of salt because we know that Wikipedia is really compromised and they can't be considered like a reliable source. But it is interesting that Jamie Fuller wrote in Politico that Baron Trump is precocious, restless, and prone to get in trouble. When he wrote about these books, he often mentions his massive brain and has a personalized insult for most people he meets in the book. Fuller also notes that Baron Trump lives in a building named after himself, Castle Trump. So you guys know that in real life, Donald Trump has Trump Tower. So there's that similarity too. There are a lot of weird, odd, strange similarities between the two stories. And Ingersoll Lockwood does look a little bit like Mark Twain. They don't look exactly alike, but maybe it's like the fashion at the time. I don't know. But this is not where it's like, this is not over. It gets weirder, guys. So get this. Back in the 40s, right around the time when Nikola Tesla was about to pass away, Nikola Tesla lived in the very famous New Yorker hotel. He had one of the top floors just for himself in his like very last years. And he started doing his experiments there, and he kept pretty much every single piece of his research that he'd done throughout his entire career in there. He kept it in some of the rooms from the floor that he lived in. On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla passed away at the age of 86 at the New Yorker hotel, where Vannevar Bush, who was rumored to be part of the Majestic 12 group, like a few years later, he sent someone to confiscate pretty much every piece of file and all of the work that Nikola Tesla left behind right after his passing. And when that happened, Vannevar Bush instructed, and get this, John G. Trump to confiscate pretty much all of his work that Nikola Tesla left behind. John G. Trump is Donald Trump's uncle. So, presumably, Donald Trump grew up hearing a lot of different conversations from his uncle, John G. Trump, and his father. And when this happened with Nikola Tesla, you can only use your imagination because Tesla, in the lore of his work, it is rumored and it is said that he allegedly found or cracked time traveling technology. So if you're like connecting the dots properly, you can tell where this is going, right? And those books from Ingersoll Lockwood do paint a pretty strange picture of something that may or may not have happened. But I just wanted to explore this whole weird story. And I invite you guys to go and take a look at those books because the books do exist. What I don't know is whether they were either planted or they actually exist. And the similarities are pretty weird and pretty startling, if you ask me. And right now, there's a lot of turmoil going on in the world with President Trump at the forefront of it. So, whether we get disclosure or not, that remains to be seen. But this really, really strange aspect of President Donald Trump and his son Barron Trump's life, I think it's worth exploring. And also that connection with Nikola Tesla and Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump. And you guys know how much I find interesting this whole time travel aspect of the UFO phenomenon because Dr. Michael P. Masters has written two books already where he entertains the idea that these UFOs may or may not be time machines. There's this book, the first one he wrote, named Identified Flying Objects, which is a more technical book about what these might be. And then there's the Extratempestrial model, where he goes by case, talking about the details that may point towards this future human hypothesis. And yeah, we can all make the connections and just let our imaginations go wild because it is pretty strange that President Trump right now is in power. There's a lot of turmoil going on around the world. There's people who believe that he's going to be the one who ends the wars that are going on. I wouldn't be so sure about that, but I can only hope. I mean, it would be really cool if the wars ended with him, but there's not a lot of people that really trust that he will do that. And right now, as things stand, we haven't got any indication that Trump is going to disclose anything. He was already pretty clear that the drones are approved by the FAA. Mr. Jake Barber already came out and responded to that, said that that is not true, that not all of those drones were approved, and that not all of those drones are drones. Jake Barber was there in New Jersey, and he claims that many of those drones are not drones, they're UFOs. So it's a really weird story, but I think it's really relevant for today's climate and for everything that's going on right now. So I want to hear your thoughts. I know there's been a lot of different content already talking about this, but I wanted to do something myself for the channel so you guys can like explore this a little bit more. And I really don't want to get into political discussions here. I just want to present this specific aspect of the novels from Ingersol Lockwood and the Trump family that is currently in power. There are far too many coincidences in this to ignore. So let's explore them together, yeah? And let me know what you think about all of these connections. What do you think about Ingersoll Lockwood writing these three books that are eerily similar to something that could be going on right now? What do you think about Barron Trump and Donald Trump? I know that Barron Trump played a huge role in Donald Trump winning the presidency. Trump did credit him for convincing him to go on different podcasts, including Joe Rogan and Theo Bon and the Nelk Boys. So Barron Trump already played a key role in Donald Trump recovering the presidency. So there's even a clip where Donald Trump does give Barron the credit, and Trump takes it like a champ. I mean, the guy kind of seems like he was made to react like that in front of the masses. It's really, really weird. especially with the context of these novels from Lockwood. It's really strange. So I don't know. I know it's a stretch kind of, but the similarities are there, especially if these books are real and they weren't planted, which I still don't know. But let me know. Have you explored this? Let me know. What do you think? And also, what do you think about the connection with Nikola Tesla and John G. Trump, who potentially could have kept a lot of the work that Tesla did and then just delivered whatever he wanted to Vannevar Bush at the time? That could have happened too. And if that happened and Tesla did crack some type of time traveling technology, what did John G. Trump do with that? So it's weird. I know. Let me know what you think in the comments and let me know whatever you might think I missed out of this story. I want to know. I'll be in the comments reading everything and responding to everything. I ask you again, please be respectful. I'm going to be there reading and writing, responding. So thank you. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can get notified when a new video drops. If you want to support the channel in any other way, there's a couple links in the description, and we have a members channel too. Thank you for the support. Psicoactivo's interviews are also on the KGRA feed, both on Twitter and on the KGRA website. I'm going to leave links in the description too. Thank you for your support. And that's going to be it for me today, but I'll see you guys tomorrow for a new video. And remember, stay curious. Bye.